Well, a bit of a boost in the polls for California's Democratic candidate for governor. Jerry Brown up slightly over Meg Whitman today after the saga surrounding Whitman's housekeeper made headlines coast to coast. Attorney Gloria Allred claiming Whitman knew that her former nanny was an illegal immigrant for years and that she abused that housekeeper, I should say, for the better part of a decade. Whitman faced Jerry Brown this weekend in a heated debate. You better think that this came up.
After November 2nd, no one's going to be watching out for Nikki Diaz. And Jerry, you know, you should be ashamed. You and your surrogates put her deportation at risk. You put her out there, and you should be ashamed for sacrificing Nikki Diaz on the altar of your political ambitions.
You have blamed her, blame me, blame the left, blame the unions, but you don't take accountability. And you can't be a leader unless you're willing to stand on your own 2 feet and say, yeah, I made a mistake, and I'm going on from here.
Well, Gloria Allred is the attorney for Meg Whitman's former housekeeper, and she's my guest now. Gloria, thanks so much for being here. Let me start with that.
Thanks for having me.
I know that you've said that Nikki Diaz was referred to you as a client. By whom was she referred?
She was referred to me by another attorney, and that is a very common practice in our
Someone
firm
with ties
that other
to Jerry
attorneys
Brown?
refer to us. Pardon
Someone
me?
with ties to Jerry Brown or any member of his campaign?
This is just a person who referred her to us, and we never comment on who refers cases to us.
Right, but the allegation is that it's a political smear, that it's a political connection. And so if you would just say that this person is not associated in any way with the Jerry Brown campaign, you could help put that to rest.
Megyn, I've been practicing law for 35 years. I never, ever say who refers cases to us, whether it's an attorney or anyone else. In this case, I'll say it was an attorney, but that's all I'm going to say. I'm not going to change our long-standing policy.
Yeah, but it's not
matter.
a breach of privilege, and it's not a breach of that person's privacy to say yes or no, they're affiliated with the Jerry Brown campaign. And when you won't rule it out, it adds fuel to the fire that indeed this is a political smear by the Brown campaign, and they're using you and, by extension, your client as an instrument.
Well, Megyn, anyone who thinks I can be used for any purpose has obviously not watched my career for the last 35 years. By the way, I don't even know, the public should be aware of chapters in my book, Fight Back and Win, where I have criticized Jerry Brown, where, in fact, the very first news conference I did 35 years ago was where I spoke on behalf of the National Women's Political Caucus and criticized him for not appointing enough women judges.
Right, but that doesn't mean you're not a supporter of his.
I also criticized Jerry Brown.
But that doesn't mean you're a supporter of his in this race against Meg Whitman, and you're on the record as having donated to his earlier campaign back in 2006. I mean, you're not denying that you support Jerry Brown over Meg Whitman in this race, and that you did even before Nikki Diaz became a client.
In this race, I have not taken a position. I haven't endorsed either candidate, nor have I contributed to either candidate, nor have I
But you've contributed to Jerry Brown in the past.
Of Jerry Brown's, or to any member of Jerry Brown's campaign staff or to Jerry Brown about this issue. I don't even know who's on his staff.
Right, but you've contributed to him in the past, and you're a well-known Democratic donor, which is why people think you may have a political agenda here. Well, I mean, I'll leave it to the viewers to decide that. I want to talk to you about two things about the case, Gloria, in particular. Now, let's just first talk about the meat of what's actually been filed, which is a complaint for back pay and for mileage with basically the Labor Bureau out there in California. You say she got paid $23 an hour, and that was exploitation. A lot of people out there, knowing the minimum wage in this country is $7.25, say they'd love to be exploited in that manner.
Well, that's not an accurate characterization of what I've said at all. It's completely false. What I have said is that she was required to work 15 hours a week, which she did, at $23 an hour, but that after she was hired, other responsibilities other than housekeeping were also added to her job duties. And that caused her, in many cases, in many instances, to work more than 15 hours a week. But even though she told her employer that she was going to have to work more than 15 hours a week to fulfill all of her added job responsibilities, that she was told that even so, she would only be paid for 15 hours
but that
a week.
could
In other words, even if she had to work more, she wouldn't be paid for it.
That could be because $23 is a premium, and when you pay a housekeeper $23 an hour, you expect her to go above and beyond the mopping and the sweeping. I want to ask you whether your client ever complained directly to the Whitmans about her salary and asked to be paid more, or asked for mileage, which is the other piece of your actual legal claim.
Well, I'm not going to say what she asked for. I will tell you
Well, did she ever raise it as an issue, which you know is relevant in a legal proceeding? Whether she raised it and gave notice to the employer is relevant.
The employer was aware that she indicated that she could not possibly do all of the job.
But did she object? That's not the same thing as objecting.
In other words, to add to the housekeeping, driving the kids to their friend's house.
I got you. I hear what you're saying, but did she object to them, Gloria?
Other things. Pardon me?
I hear what you're saying, but did she object? She has to raise it with the employer. Did she ever say to Meg Whitman or her husband, not only could I not do it for this salary, but I object because we agreed on $23 a week an hour for just 15 hours, and I refuse to do more?
Well, she didn't say I refuse to do more, but she was told. But she was told after she indicated that she was working more than 15 hours a week that she needed to prioritize and that she was not going to be paid more than 15 hours a week and that she had to get the job done.
Did she then prioritize to get her responsibilities within 15 hours and then say, this is what I'll do because we agreed on 15 hours and this is what I won't do because that's the deal?
You know, it's easy for people in your position or my position perhaps to assert that kind of power. A housekeeper who really needs her job is generally not going to say no to her employer because she doesn't want to be fired. So
it's just tough. It's tough for employers, though, Gloria, as you know, to be clairvoyant, you know, and to just sort of